certificate course, which mainly focuses on this time. The 6th edition of NILS Mooting School is full of interactive sessions and plenty of educative activities and games. Dear audience, call the whole journey of 6 NILS Mooting School 2020.
everyone for watching. Dear audience, are the source of energy for teachers. Their compliments, reviews, through the 6th NILS Mooting School, 70 participants always inspire us to improve. Now, this is the time to hear some words from their voice. I would like to invite Muhammad Hassanul Banna, Bangladesh Open University. Bangladesh Open University.
আমি হাসানুল বান্না সবাইকে জানাই সাদর প্রতি ভালোবাসা ও ভালো লাগার বিষয়টি এক কথায় যদি বলতে যাই তাহলে সেটা অসীম মানুষের প্রতি এরকম একটা লার্নিং প্ল্যাটফর্ম আমাদের লার্নিং এর সাথে আমরা অতীতে ওতপ্রোতভাবে সংযুক্ত ছিলাম না তাই কিছু বিড়ম্বনা থাকবেই তবুও বলতে চাচ্ছি ষষ্ঠ মুটিং স্কুল শতভাগ সফল হয়েছে আর যদি আমাকে কেউ নীলস মুটিং স্কুলকে 10-এ 10 দিব সুস্থ সুন্দর হোক সবার জীবন সবাই ভীষণ ভালো থাকবেন
Thank you, Hassanul Banna. Now, Saif Rasool, University of Asia Pacific.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I am Saif Rasool from University of Asia Pacific, Department of Law and Human Rights. Today is the last day of the NILS Bangladesh Mooting School online platform. And it's my honor to part of this. Thanks to my coordinator, Farhana Sanshan, Nasrin Apu, Shonchi Apu, and also other member. I have learned many things to participate in this mooting and how to achieve your success. And I am saying in the last, I am the champion. Every member of this school cooperative with each other. Daily activities like as homework, summary writing, and many of things. As a law students, it is skillful and the good neuter and the good presenter. Last but not least, every Nils Bangladesh. Thank you everyone once again.
Thanks a lot, Saif. Now, Mushfiqur Zaman, Varendra University. Mushfiqur Zaman.
অন্তিম ক্ষণে চলে গেল পুরো 1 মাস ব্যাপী একজন সদ্য আইনের শিক্ষার্থীকে যে প্রক্রিয়াটি ছিল তা সত্যি প্রশংসার দাবিদার যেমনটি একজন সদ্য ভূমিষ্ঠ শিশুকে শিখিয়ে পড়িয়ে জীবনযাত্রায় নামানো হয় ঠিক তেমনই মুটিং এর আদ্যপান্ত নিয়ে মাসুম বিল্লাহ স্যার পিজুয়াস স্যার নাসরিন আপু মামুন ভাই সঞ্চি আপু সহ সকলেই ঠিক যেভাবে আমাদের সহযোগিতা করেছেন তা সত্যি অনস্বীকার্য তবে সবচেয়ে শেখার যে জায়গাটা ছিল সেটি হলো সাংগঠনিকভাবে কার্যক্রম পরিচালনায় এই অর্গানাইজিং কমিটির সচেষ্টতা আমার কোঅর্ডিনেটর রিদি আপু কানিজ আপু জহির ভাই সহ সব ভালোবাসা ভালো থাকুক নিউজ মুটিং স্কুল ভালোবাসায় শিখতে হোক নিউজ বাংলাদেশ
Thanks a lot, Mushfiqur Zaman. Now,
আসসালামু আলাইকুম কবি সুকুমার রায়ের 16 আনায় মিছে কবিতায় সাঁতার না জানার কারণে মাঝি বাবুকে বলেছিলেন মশাই এখন কেন কাবু নিউজ মুটিং স্কুলে অংশগ্রহণ করার পর থেকে আমি একটি বিষয় পরিষ্কারভাবে বুঝতে পেরেছি ব্যবহারিক বিষয় লিখেছেন শ্রদ্ধেয় পিজুয়ার স্যার মুটিং এর যুদ্ধ ময়দানে অ্যাডভোকেসির কৌশলগুলো কিভাবে আত্মবিশ্বাস পরিশেষে শ্রদ্ধেয় মাসুম বিল্লাহ স্যারের কথাই বলতে চাই নিউজ মুটিং স্কুল ইজ ডিউটি অফ লিগাল
University.
Thank you. Beginning in despair, ending in something more than expected. When I started Mooting School, I was first time offline Mooting School. Will online session be same hands-on learning? Actually, I was right. Online as the session are being held on online, starting from famous teacher of the country, Sir Prakathi sir. There has been a lot more than expected. So it's getting heartbroken in the end. Lastly, I would like to say that School Rec Day is filling up now. Thanks and best wishes for the upcoming NILS Mooting School. This was Fahima Akhtar Mojumdar, University of Chittagong, Event and Project Management Secretary of NILS Youth Chapter. Thank you.
Thank you, Fahima. Now, Rahatul Kareem, Southeast University.
Good
Rahatul
evening,
Kareem.
everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is Rahatul Karim Nil before you. As we are all here for closing ceremony of 6th NILS Mooting School 2020, and I am here for sharing my feelings and experience. As Mooting School, when we facing this word, I think we all remember that one line, which is Mooting School is beauty of our legal education. In one line, this journey is fantastically magical, and why not? This is organized by NILS Bangladesh. I must have to say, the sessions are well recognized. The teachers are knowledgeable with excellent planning and executive skill. I must thank to Nasrin Apu, Shonchi Apu, Masum Bhaiya, and my coordinator Shushmita Apu, and as well as all coordinator to make it happen. This is really helpful for our future legal education. Thanks to NIL Bangladesh to organize this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahat. Now, Ishtiyaq Haidar Khan, Rajshahi.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমি ইশতিয়াক হায়দার খান, রাজশাহী বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের আইন ও ভূমি প্রশাসন বিভাগ থেকে। ছোটবেলায় বইয়ের পেছনের মলাটি লেখা থাকতো, সময় ও স্রোত কারো জন্য অপেক্ষা করে না। এই তো মাস পেরোয়নি ষষ্ঠ মোটিং স্কুলের উদ্বোধনী হয়েছে। আজ আমরা সেই স্কুলের ক্রান্তি লগ্নে দাঁড়িয়ে আছি। সময়টুকু চলে গেল যেন চোখের পলকে। মহামারীর এই অনিশ্চিত সময়ে পুরো যাত্রা ছিল শিক্ষণীয় আর উপভোগ্য। মানুষ শিখতে আসে নতুন কিছু জানতে, নতুন করে জানতে, কিংবা জ্ঞানের পরিপূর্ণতা লাভ করতে। আমি শেষ দলের মানুষ। মুটিং নিয়ে যা জানা ছিল তা ছিল অস্পষ্টতা, এটা ছিল বাংলাদেশের প্রথম অনলাইন মুটিং স্কুল। অনলাইন কার্যক্রমে তবু এই সীমাবদ্ধতা আন্তরিকতার পথে বাধা হয়ে দাঁড়াতে পেরেছে বলে মনে হয়নি একটুকুও। কোঅর্ডিনেটর সবার থেকে সাহায্য, দিক নির্দেশনা পেয়েছি অকুণ্ঠভাবে। সবার প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা রইল। অর্জিত শিক্ষা ও অভিজ্ঞতা কাজে লাগানোর চেষ্টা থাকবে সবসময়। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
Thank you, Ishtiyaq. Now, Tashrifa Akhtar, Borishal University.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. This is Tashrifa Akhtar, studying Department of Law, University of Borishal Mooting School. The journey of this school was started on 28 August by grand inaugural ceremony, and the main session was started on 29 August. As a freshers, I hadn't enough knowledge about mooting. After finishing all the sessions, I understand each and every concept about mooting. I knew not only about mooting, but also some acts, articles, conventions, and international laws. All the segments of all the sessions are very enjoyable for me because the teachers and the facilitators are very friendly. By joining this school, I became acquainted with many outstanding people. My coordinator and my team members were so helpful. At last, thanks to NILS Bangladesh and all the organizers of 6th NILS Mooting School for giving me such an opportunity and make these delightful sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now, Munira Zahan, Bangladesh University of Professionals.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to you all. This is Munira Jahan from Bangladesh University of Professionals. I have participated in 6 NILS Mooting School 2020 from Team 19. At first, I would like to thank my teammate, coordinator, organizers, and the facilitators of this amazing platform for their support and hard work throughout the month. It has been a privilege to be a part of this school. Being a moot enthusiast, I've always wanted to take part in this school, but being a resident of Dhaka me to participate in this school as it is mostly organized in Chattogram while being offline. Thanks to this, truly, I've enjoyed every bit of it. In a line, it was a hell of a journey. I pray for all the participants for their ultimate success in life, NILS Bangladesh for their future endeavors. Thank you once again.
Thanks, dear participants, for your cheering words. At this stage, I would like to thank all the event coordinators of the 6 NILS Mooting School for their fantastic hard work. I would like to thank Mr. Zahirul Haq and Lutfur Nahar Shonchi, joint coordinating heads, and the coordinators from different public and private universities, namely Muhammad Kais Rahat, University of Chittagong, Fatima Zahra Ahsan Raisa, University of Chittagong, Sharmil Sultana Shushmita, Southeast University, Tasnuva Nusrat, International Islamic University Chittagong, Ramzan Mubarak, Chittagong Independent University, Kanis Fatima, International Islamic University Chittagong, Zubair Chowdhury, Southern University, Bangladesh, Muhammad Abdullah Al Kafi, BGC Trust University, Bangladesh, Shamima Kausar, BGC Ashnia Mazumdar Duti, Premier University, Chittagong, Pranto Karan, Southern University, Bangladesh, Roxana Janna, Premier University, Farhan Hassan Shah, Bangladesh, Imtiaz Hussain, University of Chittagong, Tanvirul Islam, International Islamic University, Imtiaz Bhuiya Mahi, Jahangirnagar University.
Dear audience, our chief guest and distinguished guest of honor will be here within few minutes. I would like to request all our respected guests and my dear participants to hold your patience for a while. In the meantime, I would like to give some instruction to my dearest participant, distinguished guest of honor. I would like to request all the participants and I would also request my guest and distinguished guest of honor will be arrived. Thank you.
Hello, Numan. How are you?
Sir, I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Numan.
Sir, thank you once again. I am very happy to see you, sir. যতবারই দেখি স্যার আপনাদেরকে দেখলে ভালো লাগে স্যার।
Thank you,
আমাদের
Numan.
তো
Thank you.
মনটা খুব খারাপ যে শালম স্যারকে আমরা হারিয়ে ফেললাম। আপনারা
হুম,
আছেন স্যার, মানে আপনাদেরকে দেখলে স্যার আপনি ভালো আছেন স্যার না?
আছি, হ্যাঁ, so far so good, Numan. Thank you.
স্যার থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার,
Thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ। প্লিজ
Assalamualaikum Nizam.
Walaikum assalam.
Naima.
Oh, Naima. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. So far so good. So far so good, yeah.
So far so good. Yeah. Good to see you. It's on virtual world.
Thank you.
ম্যাডাম আসসালামু আলাইকুম। Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আমরা সবাই চলে এসেছি। আমার মনে হয় যে স্যাররা
Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest and distinguished guest of honor are with us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A hearty welcome to the grand closing ceremony of the 6th edition of NILS Mooting School. I am Lutfun Nahar Shonchi, Vice President, Advocacy, the Joint Coordinator Head, 6th NILS Mooting School. Along Mooting School, we both feel fortunate to express our affectionate greetings to welcome all of you. Dearest audience, what did I have in real life? In stories, you simply said they lived happily ever after. And that year after year. And there are many things that don't really end. They just begin again in a new way. And NILS Bangladesh continuing. Following such tradition, NILS Bangladesh started organizing NILS Mooting School since 2017.
This year, considering the COVID-19 crisis, NILS Bangladesh decided to organize the 6th edition of its finest and exclusive one-month-long certificate course on mooting named NILS Mooting School 2020 6th edition, which has been started on 28th August. In this mooting school, 70 participants of 22 different universities have participated through the coordination of 16 coordinators from different universities who are the alumni of NILS Mooting School. Participants were nurtured by a bunch of national and international resource panels. The objective of this long 1 month argumentative skill of a law student to develop self-possession, fluency, clarity, and presentation of moot problem, to her ability to argue for the party, maintaining court manner, and lastly, to enhance research and writing skills of a law student. Now, it's the time to introduce. Dear audience, today's grand closing ceremony is graced by many renowned personalities. Right now, introducing our lecturer, Cox's Bazar International University, Pizuar Hossain Department of Law, East West University, Mr. Mukarramas Shaklan Sir, Court of Bangladesh, adjudicator, demo moot court competition, 6 NILS mooting. From NILS Bangladesh National Board, Mohammad Mamun, President NILS Bangladesh, Ms. Nasrin Sultana Madam, Founder Trustee and Founding President NILS Bangladesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our guests of today's event. Mr. Prakat Khati, sir, Attorney-in-Law, Nepal. Ma'am, Chairman and Assistant Professor, Department of Law, Kumilla University. Taposh Kumar Das, Chairman and Assistant Professor, Department of Law and Justice, Jahangirnagar University. S.M. Bilal, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, and Richard Sam, Associate Professor and Chairperson, Department. Professor Dr. Farhana Hilal Mehtab, ma'am, Associate Dean of Humanities and Social Science, Daffodil International University. Distinguished guest of honor, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman, sir, former Chairman, National Human Rights, and Professor, Department of Law, University of Dhaka. Honorable Madam Justice Naima Haidar, Justice of Supreme Court of Bangladesh. And this program will be chaired by Professor ABM Abu Noman, sir, Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong.
Before we are moving further, let's see a presentation by Ms. Rukhsana Jannat, Coordinator, 6th Mooting School. Rukhsana Jannat.
I am Roxana Jannat, welcoming you all to a mini tour . This journey started with a grand inaugural ceremony. Let's see the honorable guest of the grand inaugural ceremony. Professor ABM Abu Noman, sir, Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong. Christian Richardson, ma'am, Associate Professor and Chairperson, Department of Land Management and Law, Jagannath University. Muhammad Asadul Zaman, sir, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Law and Human Rights, University of Asia Pacific. Professor Dr. Farhana Hilal Mehtab, ma'am, Associate Dean, Department of Law, Daffodil International University. Abdullah Al Mamun, sir, Associate Professor, Department of Law, University of Chittagong. Dr. S.M. Masum Billah, sir, Associate Professor, Department of Law, Jagannath University. Monir Zaman Sohan, sir, Assistant Professor and Proctor, Feni University. Said Ahsan Khalid, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, University of Chittagong. Sadia Siraj, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, Southeast University. And Muhammad Golam Sarwar, sir, Lecturer, Department of Law, University of Dhaka. Dear audience, now I will show the highlights of our journey. In 6 NILS Mooting School, we offered plenty numbers of segments, such as interactive lectures, engagement activities, review write-up competition, demo moot code competition, and quiz segment on mooting knowledge. In the beginning, we prepared a pre-evaluation form to know our participants well. Let's see some sneak peek of our interactive sessions. Here are our honorable facilitators of 6 NILS Mooting School. To refresh participant minds, we arranged some engagement activities as Hothat Brishti. It's a kind of game where participants need to express their views if suddenly rain occurs. Word puzzle, where participants had to guess the topic of a picture which was shown on the screen. Debate session and instant presentations. It's better to say live debate battle, where our participants actively participated and instant presentations enriched their public speaking capacity. Brainstorming task. The participants also performed brainstorming tasks which tickled their mind. Group works. The participants were also assigned to do some group works. Now, I would like to show all the awardees of 6 NILS Mooting School. Best performers, best reviewers, Aini Bangla Here are some best reviews from our participants. Dear audience, my next slide is going to be the most exciting part. It's the demo moot code competition. Through this demo, the participants saw the real scenario of a moot code competition by the coordinators of 6 NILS Mooting School. Following such demo, participants also acted as mooters in another moot code competition. From where we got the best speaker. We also organized a quiz segment on basic mooting knowledge. Last but not least, 6 NILS Mooting School is going to launch ebook which will be full of the experience sharing from our participants, coordinators, guest speeches, and opinions of our facilitators. Finally, after this mooting school, there will be a post-evaluation form for the participants as their feedback matters to us. Now, I would like to thank everyone for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxana, for your wonderful presentation. Dear audience, for some certain urgency, our honorable guest, Christian Richardson, ma'am, needs to leave us. However, ma'am will join us later. Before that, I would like to invite very proactive and inspiring Christian Richardson, ma'am, Associate Professor and Chairperson, Department of Land Management and Law, Jagannath University, for her view.
Thank you.
Miaina.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Honorable Chief Guest of today, Madam Justice Naima Haidar, Professor Mizan sir, Professor Noman, and other distinguished guests. Sorry for skipping the queue and being first to say something, since I have another program of my department. So maybe I'll join back later. Thank you, NILS, for inviting me. And I feel proud to be a part of all the programs of NILS. And Mooting is really something very enjoyable, very lively, and something very important for the law students. I always think that Mooting is something like, you can say, in a classroom, I can teach a student. It's like laws, like something like driving a car, because I can bring the whole car to the classroom. I can show the students each and every part, make them memorize all the parts of a car, and they'll be an expert in a car. But when I tell them, so now go and drive this out of the room, that is where mooting comes in. Because after studying law, they need to go to the court. And court is somewhere where they have to be skilled in presentation, in argument, in clarity of the case. So all those students who have participated in the MOOC school, I believe these students will be ahead than those who have not participated when they go to their professional lives. And they will be able to do much better in their professional lives, because they will be equipped with the skills to practice law. So thank you, NILS, that the pandemic could not stop you from organizing this school. For the first time, you have gone online, and it has been a success, and you have completed it successfully. So I congratulate all the organizers, the instructors who have taken part here, and those of you who have got special prizes for taking part in the this school. Thank you all once again, and thank you, NILS, for inviting me here today. Before I sign out, just one, I would like to remember our dear Professor, because of the beginning of this school. We remembered him, and he was there with us. So today he's no more with us, and I pray for his soul. And we all pray so that his soul rests in peace. And thank you, NILS, again for inviting me. Thank you for organizing this wonderful school, this session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your extraordinary remarks in this event. Dear audience, though we consider it to have Dr. S.M. Masumila sir with us in this whole event, however, for some certain emergency situation, sir also need to leave us. However, sir said he will join us later. Ladies and gentlemen, we consider it a great honor to invite the person who is an accomplished architect of law and literature, Dr. S.M. Masumila sir, Associate Professor, Department of Law, Jagannath University.
অনেক ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে প্রীতি এবং শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি আমার নাম মাসুম বিল্লাহ আমি জগন্নাথ ইউনিভার্সিটিতে আইন পড়াই একটু আগেই বিদায় নেওয়া যদি অপরাধ হয় আমিও কিন্তু সেই একই অপরাধী কেননা আমাদের ওই ভূমি আইনের উপরে একটা প্রোগ্রাম রয়েছে আমরা ওটাতে সুইচ ওভার করব আবার যদি আমরা ব্যাক করতে পারি ইনশাআল্লাহ করব এখানে উপস্থিত আছেন আমার গুরু এবং আইনাঙ্গনের উজ্জ্বলতম শিক্ষক প্রফেসর মিজানুর রহমান তার উপস্থিতিতে আমার ইংরেজি বলা হয় না সুতরাং আমি বাংলাতেই স্বাচ্ছন্দ্য বোধ করছি বলবার জন্য এবং যে মুহূর্তে আমরা এই অনুষ্ঠান করছি ঠিক সেই মুহূর্তেই আপনারা জানবেন যে জাতিসংঘের সাধারণ পরিষদের অধিবেশনে মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী বাংলায় ভাষণ দেবেন এবং ৭৪ সালে বঙ্গবন্ধু জাতির জনক বাংলাতে ভাষণ দিয়ে আমাদের জাতিকে নতুন করে একটা মর্যাদায় সমাসীন করেছিলেন এবং সেই জন্য বোধহয় আমি বাংলাতে বলতে স্বাচ্ছন্দ্য বোধ করছি। এই মুটিং স্কুল এর শুরুর দিনে আমি ছিলাম, মাঝে একদিন আবার বক্তৃতা দিতে এসেছিলাম এবং আজকে শেষ দিনেও কিভাবে যেন আমাকে আবার ডাকা হয়েছে। আমি বললাম যে আত্মীয় বিদায় দিয়ে আবার আত্মীয়ের সঙ্গে দেখা, এর চেয়ে বিড়ম্বনা আর নেই। তবুও যখন শুনলাম যে অন্যান্য স্যাররা থাকবেন, সুতরাং আমি আবারও সেই উপস্থিতির লোভ সামলাতে পারিনি। সুতরাং মুটিং স্কুলের শুরু আমি, শেষ আমি। এই দিক দিয়ে কিন্তু আমার খুব ভালো লাগছে। আর একটা কারণে ভালো লাগছে, এত বড় হয়ে গেলাম এবং আইনের ছাত্রত্ব শেষে পড়ানো শুরু করেছি। আমাদের বিচারাঙ্গনের উজ্জ্বলতম বিচারপতি জাস্টিস নাইমা হায়দার ম্যামকে এই প্রথম আমি একটা অনুষ্ঠানে আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি এবং আমি খুব গর্বিত অনুভব করছি। কারণ শুধুমাত্র এই কারণেই নয় যে তিনি একজন অন্যতম মেধাবী বিচারপতি এবং বাংলাদেশে অনেক আইনের নতুন নতুন নীতি উদ্ভাবনে তার জাজমেন্ট আমাদেরকে পথ দেখাচ্ছে। এ কারণেও তিনি নমস্য যে তার মহত্তম পিতা বাংলাদেশের সাবেক প্রধান বিচারপতি জাস্টিস বদরুল হায়দার চৌধুরী, যার 8th অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট সেলিব্রেটেড জাজমেন্ট আমাদের আইন অঙ্গনের অন্যতম লিডিং কেস, এবং তার দেওয়া সেই নমস্য রায়, এবং যেখানে তিনি বলেছিলেন যে প্রোক্লেমেশন অফ ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স ইজ দি জেনেসিস অফ বাংলাদেশ কনস্টিটিউশন, এবং তার লেখা লং ইকোস বই বা এভলিউশন অফ দ্য সুপ্রিম কোর্ট আমাদের আইনের ইতিহাসে আইনি সংস্কৃতি বিনির্মাণে অন্যতম পথপ্রদর্শক হয়ে আছে। সুতরাং তার উপস্থিতিতেও আমি আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠানে সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাতে পেরে এবং নিজেকে আবিষ্কার করে খুবই ধন্য মনে করছি। কিন্তু এই ধরনের পুরস্কার বিতরণী আসলে ডিনার ছাড়া কিন্তু খুব ভালো হয় না, গ্র্যান্ড ক্লোজিং। সুতরাং সেটা যে গ্র্যান্ড হতো যদি গ্র্যান্ড ডিনার থাকতো। যেহেতু গ্র্যান্ড ডিনার নেই, এই মুখের কথাই কিন্তু মিষ্টি, আমরা বলি যে মিষ্টি কথায় চিড়ে ভেজে না, মুখের কথাই প্রীতি হয় না। সুতরাং যদি অবশ্য নাও হয়, মুখের কথাই তো এখন সবচেয়ে বেশি, যদি নাই হয় তাহলে দুর্ব্যবহারও তো নিশ্চয়ই ভালো নয়। সুন্দর কথাই কিন্তু আমাদের ছিলাম শূন্যে, তীরটি চলে গিয়েছে অনেক দূরে, আমি আর তীরটি দেখতে পাইনি। আবার বহুদিন পূর্বে আমার এক বন্ধু সুন্দর ছিলেন, আর সেই সুন্দরতম গানটি বহুদিন যাবৎ পরে একজন সহৃদয় বন্ধুর কণ্ঠে তিনি আবার শুনতে পেয়েছিলেন। সুতরাং সুন্দর কথা কিন্তু আমাদের মনে থাকে এবং সেই জন্যই আমি সৌন্দর্যের পূজারী। এবং এই যে বিউটি, নিলস মুটিং স্কুল যে আমাদের লিগ্যাল এডুকেশনের একটা বিউটি, সেটা আমি বলেছিলাম। কেননা আমি যখন ওয়েলিংটনে পড়তাম, ওইখানে আমার এক বন্ধু ছিল, পোলিশ বন্ধু, নাম ছিল জোয়ানা সেকেরা। জোয়ানা দেখতে খুবই সুন্দর এবং তার চেহারায় আমরা সবাই গুণে মুগ্ধ হয়ে গেলাম। আমি ভাবলাম যে এত রূপ সে পেল কোথা থেকে। পরে পোল্যান্ডের কনস্টিটিউশন খুঁজতে গিয়ে দেখলাম যে তাদের সংবিধানের প্রিয়াম্বেলে এই বিউটি শব্দটা আছে। সেই কারণেই বোধ করি সে এত সুন্দরী হয়েছিল। তো আমরা যদি পোল্যান্ড সংবিধান থেকে বাংলাদেশ সংবিধানেও আসি, পৃথিবীর অন্যতম মানে সুলিখিত সংবিধান এবং এত সুন্দর প্রস্তাবনাময় ইঙ্গিতময় একটা সংবিধান আমরা পেয়েছি, যার জন্য আমরা গর্ববোধ করতে পারি। আমরা বলেছি সেখানে যে মানব জাতির প্রগতিশীল আশা আকাঙ্ক্ষার সাথে সঙ্গতি রাখিয়া যাহাতে আমরা স্বাধীন সত্তায় সমৃদ্ধি লাভ করিতে পারি। এই যে স্বাধীন সত্তায় সমৃদ্ধি লাভ করিতে পারি, এমন সুন্দর কথা আর কোথায় আছে? আমাদের পূর্বপুরুষেরা, আমাদের সংবিধান প্রণেতারা সেই হেমন্তের এক মিষ্টি বিকেলে এই সংবিধানটা আমাদের জন্য গিয়েছিলেন এবং জাতির আশা আকাঙ্ক্ষা তো কখনো মরে না, মরে না বিধায়ী তো আমাদের সেই রাষ্ট্রীয় নীতিগুলো বারে বারে আবার সামনে চলে আসে এবং নতুন রাজনৈতিক প্রেক্ষাপটে আমরা সেই সেকুলারিজম, সেই ন্যাশনালিজম, সেই ডেমোক্রেসি, সেই সোশ্যালিজমে আবার নতুন করে ঋদ্ধ হই। সুতরাং আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে যে আমাদের এই যে সাংবিধানিক ঐতিহ্য বা উত্তরাধিকার, এটা আমাদের অত্যন্ত গর্বের ব্যাপার। হ্যাভিং সেড সো, আজকের দিনটা কিন্তু একটা কালো দিনও বটে। এই যে 26 তারিখ 1975-এ বঙ্গবন্ধুকে হত্যার 1 মাসের মাথায় আমাদের একজন কুখ্যাত ব্যক্তি একটা অর্ডিন্যান্স জারি করেছিল, যার নাম ইনডেমনিটি অর্ডিন্যান্স। আরো একটা ইনডেমনিটি কিন্তু জারি হয়েছিল 2004-এ ক্লিন হার্ট, আমাদের হৃদয় পরিষ্কার অপারেশনে। এই ইনডেমনিটি কালচার আমাদের পুরো যে বিউটি অফ লিগ্যাল কালচার, সেটাকে আমাদের ক্ষুণ্ণ করেছে। আমি মনে করি যে একজন আইনের ছাত্র, একজন আইনের শিক্ষক, একজন আইনজীবী, তাদেরকে এই যে ব্যাকওয়ার্ডনেস, এই যে ডিকেইং পার্ট অফ আওয়ার জুরিসপ্রুডেন্স, সেটা লোকেট করার জন্য সবচেয়ে ভালোভাবে আইন শিক্ষায় শিক্ষিত হতে হবে। সেইটা যদি হয় আমাদের কথা, তাহলে আমি 3টা জিনিস বলবো। একজন আইনের ছাত্রের 3টা জিনিস খুব দরকার ব্যতিক্রম ভাবে। একটা হচ্ছে আনন্দ। আমি কিন্তু আইনের কথা বলছি না, আমি বলছি আনন্দ, মনের আনন্দ, প্লেজার, রিডিং ফর প্লেজার। 2, কল্পনা, লিগ্যাল ইমাজিনেশন। একজন শিল্পীর যেমন কল্পনা দরকার, একজন ভালো আইনজীবীর, একজন ভালো শিক্ষকের কল্পনা শক্তি প্রচন্ডভাবে থাকা দরকার। আর একটা হচ্ছে ব্যতিক্রম ধর্মী সৃষ্টিশীলতা। আমি জানি যে এই 1 মাসে যে কয়জন শিক্ষক এখানে ক্লাস নিয়েছেন, আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি পিজুয়ার রয়েছে এখানে, নাসরিন রয়েছে এখানে, এবং মামুন রয়েছে এখানে, অন্যান্য শিক্ষক মন্ডলীরা রয়েছেন। তাদের কথায় এইভাবে যে এত সুন্দরভাবে আইন শিক্ষাকে ধরে এবং ভার্চুয়ালি এরকম পরিবেশন করা যায়। আইনটা তো আলটিমেটলি একটা পরিবেশন, মানে প্লেটে করে সুন্দর করে আদালতের সামনে প্রেজেন্টেশন। সুতরাং এইখানে ব্যতিক্রম ধর্মী সৃষ্টিশীলতা যদি অর্জন করা যায়, তাহলে কিন্তু আমরা ওই স্বাধীন সত্তায় সমৃদ্ধি লাভ করিতে পারিব। পরিশেষে আমি এই কথাটা বলে শেষ করি যে একজন শিশু এক জ্ঞানী মানুষকে জিজ্ঞাসা করছে যে আমি কি ক্যারিয়ার পছন্দ করতে পারি। তো বলছেন যে তুমি ভালো মানুষ হও। ভালো মানুষ হও এই কারণে যে এইটা খুব সহজ এবং এই লাইনে কম্পিটিটর কম। সুতরাং আইনজীবী, শিক্ষক এবং হচ্ছে আমরা সবাই ভালো মানুষ হব, একটু আলাদা হব। আমি আয়োজকের কাছে আমার একশো জন ছাত্র প্রায়, আমি বলেছিলাম 100 সোনার মানুষ। 1 মাসে কতটুকুন ট্রান্সফর্ম হওয়া সম্ভব জানি না, কিন্তু যদি একটুও চিন্তায় যদি এই মুটিং স্কুল তোমাদেরকে পরিবর্তন করাতে পারে, আমি মনে করব যে সেটা সবার জন্য সার্থক হয়েছে। এই কথা বলে সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়ে আমার কথা শেষ করছি। থ্যাংক ইউ সো ভেরি মাচ।
Thank you, sir, for your colorful remarks. We are hopeful to have you later in our event. Dear audience, this year, on 31st August, Bangladesh lost its one of the best legal minds and leading international law scholars, Professor Dr. M. Shah Alam, former Dean, University of Chittagong, and former Chairman acting of the Bangladesh Law Commission. One of the pioneers of clinical legal education in Bangladesh, who introduced clinical legal education in University of Chittagong. Professor Shah Alam sir was more than a law teacher, a concise keeper of legal arena. He was a prolific writer, a veteran freedom fighter. Even after passing a resourceful and reflective life, the means of Professor Shah Alam sir is undoubtedly an irreparable loss to the whole legal education community of Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, NILS Bangladesh would like to dedicate the 6th NILS Mooting School to the great Professor Dr. M. Shah Alam in his tribute. We request all of you to have 30 seconds silence to pay respect to the departed soul of Professor Shah Alam sir.
Now, we would like to invite Mohammad Mamun, President NILS Bangladesh, for sharing his insights about the 6th NILS Mooting School and pronounce his vote of thanks. Mohammad Mamun, President NILS Bangladesh.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest of this ceremony, Her Excellency, Madam Justice Naima Haider, Honorable Justice of the High Court Division of Supreme Court of Bangladesh, distinguished guest of honor, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir, former Chairman, National Human Rights Commission of Bangladesh and Professor of Department of Law, University of Chittagong, Honorable Chair of the Program, Professor ABM Ahmad Oman Sir, Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong, Honorable Special Guest Panel, respected Head of the respected presence from facilitators panel, invited National Board members of NILS Bangladesh, and dear growing participants. Assalamu alaikum and very good evening. I am taking this wonderful opportunity to welcome you all to this grand closing ceremony of 6th NILS Mooting School. This is my absolute privilege to be here today among some highly scholarly, respected persons and before a bunch of young enthusiastic participants. This is undoubtedly a glorious experience to be here today and hear one of the most inspiring personality, a glaring example of progressive judiciary of Bangladesh and legendary legal mind of the country who has spellbound contribution for legal system of the country, none other than Her Excellency, Madam Justice. This is a wonderful opportunity to have among us and hear one of the living stars of the sky of law fraternity, legendary personality, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir. I, on behalf of NILS Bangladesh, would like to convey our heartiest gratitude and bucket of respect to all our guests for joining us today. We are truly inspired, honored, delighted, and grateful for your presence. Without any further delay, I would like to conclude here, welcoming you all again to this grand closing ceremony. Thank you and welcome.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Mamun Bhaiya, the visionary president of NILS Bangladesh. Dear audience, at this stage, we would like to invite Ms. Nasrin Sultana Madam, founder trustee and founding president, NILS Bangladesh, for her welcome speech. Nasrin Madam has worked as lecturer of law at university and is currently working with United Nations as senior legal protection assistant. Ms. Nasrin Sultana Madam.
Thank you, Raisa. Presence, including respected facilitators and distinguished special guests. And the today's two main attractions for us, all of us, our man of prudence, the philosopher, professor, very respected, our very own Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir, former Chairman, National Human Rights Commission, Bangladesh, and Professor, Department of Law, University of Dhaka. The chief guest, who is an exceptionally charming personality and the proud of Bangladesh judiciary, whose presence make this program a vibrant one, Madam Justice Haider, Honorable Justice High Commission, Supreme Court of Bangladesh, and the program in Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong, a true guide of NILS Bangladesh, a man of versatile qualities, inspired by whom, as a direct student, we are now in this shape. On behalf of NILS Bangladesh, we would like to cordially express gratitude to all of you for your glorifying presence at this closing ceremony. Mark Twain once said, "I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead." It's really hard to express within very few words. I want to conclude with very few statements. First and foremost, NILS Mooting School is the flagship program of NILS PD, which has brought the idea of Mooting School in Bangladesh, an initiative of promotional legal education. From organizing different moot court competition, legal debate competitions, seminars, international conferences, another signatory part of the clinical education of NILS Bangladesh are legal awareness program and court visit program. NILS Bangladesh has spread its legal awareness by its members among 3,000 secondary school students of Bangladesh around the country, including Dhaka, Chittagong, Borishal, and Kustia. That represents the social responsibility of NILS Bangladesh. Also, court visit program is making them legally skilled by observing real court procedure and by interacting with real judges as well as lawyers. On the other hand, every year a good number of NILS members are going to abroad to attend different schooling program and conferences of NILS in other countries. That is how we welcome them to the global community and make them international minded. Apart from three rich volumes of NILS International Journal, NILS Bangladesh Journal has its own capacity to research articles by its own members. Ultimately, our motto is to make our law students legally skilled and socially responsible. Our goal is to contribute in legal education through networking with different legal professionals and creating bonding with the organization and institution who have similar good intention to contribute. As we have today the dignitary guests like Justice Naima Haidar ma'am and Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman sir, for whom we are waiting for a long time. So I shouldn't waste that time. Everyone is waiting to hear them. In my concluding remark, I would say we are honored, privileged, and ever bound to your cooperation and guidance to us. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam, for your honest welcome speech. NILS Bangladesh is profoundly indebted to your guidance.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are glad to invite one of our distinguished international resource persons of 6th NILS Mooting School, who earned a mountain respect from the students by his interactive lecture of wisdom. Mr. Prakat Khati sir, attorney in law, Nepal, Master of Public Policy, University of California, Berkeley, USA. Mr. Prakat Khati sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm in a bit of a noisy place, but I'll make the best of what can be done. Distinguished guests, Madam Justice, dear Dr. Professor Mizanur Rahman, Honorable Chairperson, and all the distinguished professors present here. I'd like to keep my remarks short, but there are a few things that I have to share and a few remarks that I have to make, given the opportunity that I am given right now. My first remark is, and this is for all the participants, never undervalue the value of community in doing all of this, right? I'm immensely honored, and it was my immense pleasure to come to you and share an hour or two of my knowledge, my experience with you. But more than that, this fraternity between the students, especially in law community, the students of Bangladesh and the students of Nepal, this is a special bond that we have in the region. And to the best of my knowledge, this is quite unique between these two countries in the region. And I have not seen this strength and this amicability of community between these two professional fields in these two countries. And whatever was done in this school, and the fact that you have me here, that you were kind enough to welcome me, is only further evidence that there's a lot we can do with this community, and it's our responsibility to nurture it and to use it to the best interest of the region itself, not only our own countries. Second, I must thank many people in Bangladesh. First, I would like to thank generally everyone. I was in Bangladesh for a few months. I got an excellent opportunity to work in one of your courts, and it changed my life, quite honestly. Dr. Mizan was a key personality in enabling me to come to your country and to receive your kind hospitality. And for that, I'll forever be thankful. I was planning to come to Bangladesh again this year and share some moments with some of the dear friends and some of the mentors that I met. But unfortunately, the times did not allow it. And I cannot put into enough words how glad I am to see Dr. Mizan again, even though it's through a computer screen. How glad I am to talk to Tapossar again. Right. So, in conclusion, thank you for your hospitality, and keep in mind that we have a community that we have a responsibility towards, and it's our responsibility to not only use the community but to nurture it and to give back to it when you're able to. The second thing I will say, and this is a message more towards the participants, is that we are extremely fortunate to to be the beneficiaries of a lifetime of work by people like Professor Mizanur Rahman, right? And slowly, when you graduate, I hope you'll realize that the clinical legal education culture that we have in South Asia, the mooting culture that we have in South Asia, the culture of students coming together and doing something like this is very unique. I've gone to universities around the world, and this sense of community and combined collective learning is not present in other regions. And almost all of the credit goes to the early pioneers of clinical legal education in Nepal, in India, in Bangladesh, who spent their lives struggling with universities with old mindsets to introduce this program, to introduce this culture, I would say. So it's part of our educational and academic culture of the region already. And obviously we should thank them immensely, but now it is the changing of the guards. It is now our responsibility to carry this work forward. And huge kudos to NILS for doing this, right? This is just one way of making sure that the legacy is not lost. And the last remark I'll make once again to the participant is, both in Nepal and in Bangladesh, you are now someone who knows international law to a greater or lesser degree. And the way we practice and the way we learn international law in South Asia is very different from international law is approached and taught elsewhere. For us, international law is not about our states or our sovereignties. It's not only about that. It's not about power. For us, international law is primarily about making the lives of our people better, right? It's about human rights. It's about the environment. It's about the minimizing conflict, having justice, having accountability. So in the reason, these are our primary existential crises that we face every day. And you, as someone who knows international law, now you have a positive duty, not only to practice it well, but to comment on public events, right? Use this knowledge. You know what the courts are capable of. You know about jurisdiction just from my lecture, right? You should use this knowledge to go out and say that, okay, this is good, this is bad, this is how international law should be used, this is how it should not be used. And in a world where, we have increasingly aggressive neighbors and increasing countries becoming more and more inwards looking, and multilateralism and international institutions slowly starting to lose their power and value, it is extremely important for and we should make sure that international law does not die out, right? It is not destroyed by this trend towards anarchy, this trend towards positive, like uh, like in displays of power. So take that with you in your heart. Once again, thank you immensely for having me here. I hope my words will inspire at least some of you to work twice as hard in learning international law and in applying it. Thank you once again for having me here, and I'm really glad.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We hope to see you in Bangladesh soon. Dear audience, now is the time to hear the remarks from one of our respected resource panel of 6 NILS Mooting School. May I now please invite Muhammad Pizwar Hossain, sir, Senior Lecturer, Department of Law, East West University. Muhammad Pizwar Hossain, sir.
Am I audible, Sanchi?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for giving me the floor to say a few words. I will take a few seconds to give my speech. First of all, Honorable Chief Guest, Madam Justice Naima Haider, today's guest of honor, respected Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman sir, distinguished guest, dear colleagues and participants, good evening. I'm Mohammad Pijwar Hussain, Senior Lecturer, Department of Law, East West University. In our practical life, I find two commonly confused words. One is moot and another one is mute. Mooting makes us fearless, but fear sometimes makes us mute. Being a moot fanatic, I'm very happy to express that NILS Mooting School has become a remarkable program in Bangladesh for making a bunch of law students of Bangladesh fearless. NILS is unquestionably building the participants' oratory skills and, of course, teamwork through this program, even during this during this time of pandemic. Therefore, I'm truly honored to be a part of its entire journey. Lots of appreciations and congratulations to the NILS family and the participants. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for your refreshing remarks.
Next, we would like to invite another signatory resource, adjudicator, Dem Moot Court Competition, 6 NILS Mooting School, Mr. Mukarramas Shaklan Sir, Advocate, Supreme Court of Bangladesh. Mr. Mukarramas Shaklan Sir.
Sunse, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Honorable Chief Guest, Madam Justice Saima Heather, Honorable Distinguished Guest of Honor, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir, Honorable Chair Professor Abu Noman, Dean Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong, dear trainee and all participants of today's closing ceremony. A very good evening to you all. At first, I'd like to give a big thanks to NILS Bangladesh for successfully arranging the 6th consecutive mooting school for the learners of law. This is an amazing online arrangement by the NILS Bangladesh during this COVID-19 pandemic, where regular academic and extracurricular activities are completely impossible physically for long 7 months. But this arrangement by NILS have changed us to adapt the new normal situation. Dear participants, I was one of the facilitators in the Smooth School for one session, and my role was to evaluate the participants in a demo mood session. In that day, I tried to discuss some details of advocacy of counsel, but today I would like to summarize that lecture by 6 points. Before going into that, I would request all the trainees to read an article written by Arthur T. Vanderbilt. Arthur T. Vanderbilt was former Chief Justice of Supreme Court of New Jersey. The name of the article is Forensic Persuasion, and he wrote it in 1950. In Forensic Persuasion, Vanderbilt, from his long experience, has written that 6 factors are involved in the work of a lawyer. I believe these 6 factors also applicable for the mooters. The first factor is mastering the facts. That is the capacity of grasping all the facts of a case in all of their interrelations and implications as possible as quickly and comprehensively. The second factor is you have to know the principle and rule of laws. That is, you have to have a thorough understanding of fundamental principles and rules of law and the ability to apply them to the facts of the case. And the third one is the knowledge of human nature. A good mooter must have understanding of human nature and an ability to get along with people generally. And thereafter, a mooter should have an understanding of trends of the time. That is a very good understanding of the economic, political, social, and intellectual environment of a case. And the fifth factor, Mr. Vanderbilt says that ability to reason. Basically, this ability to reason concerning the facts, the law, the personalities involved in litigation, and the environment of a case in such a way as to solve the pending problem in the most satisfactory manner possible. And finally, Vanderbilt says, express yourself. That is, a mooter must be able to express himself in words. He must master the use of words, or they will be likely to master him. He must cultivate the arts of both written and spoken expression until their use becomes second nature to him. Dear trainees, I wish you success in future as a good lawyer. Hope to meet with again News Bangladesh. Thank you so much again for inviting me. Thank you everyone.
For your continuous support and inspiration.
Introducing very lively and young administrator, Roxana Roxana Akhtar Madam.
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's Rukhsana Akhtar. You have already introduced me. First of all, I would like to give my special gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest, Justice Naima Madam, my mentor, ABM Abu Noman sir, and is a scholarly person in the area of legal sector, inviting me in this floor to say something before Mijan sir, to Madam. I believe that I have to learn a lot from them. Also a legal in the legal field, I am also a learner. Mooting is such a beautiful thing which has been introduced in our country in the context of new generation. We were a student in Chittagong University. So I would like to give my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants who joined in this session for their hard work. It's all about dedication, all about hard work, all about your presentation, all about learning, which will make you more efficient to go to do something better for the country, for yourself. Mooting is such a floor for all of you to do something better for yourself, to do something for the society, and to do something better for you, so that everyone could follow you. And Mijan sir, Justice Naima Haidar Madam, Abu Noman sir, Masum Billah sir, they are all are guiding yourself, and also me, so that we could do something better for the society. Thank you all for inviting me, for giving me a floor and opportunity to say something here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Roxana Akhtar Madam. Now, I would like to call young scholar Taposh Kumar Das Sir, Chairman and Assistant Professor, Department of Law and Justice, Jahangirnagar University.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'll try my level best to stay within the time frame. So, chief guest of the event, Madam Justice special guest, my fellow colleagues and fellow participants, very good evening. So first of all, I would like to congratulate NILS for organizing the 6th NILS Mooting School, and my heartiest congratulations to all the participants who have successfully completed the month-long mooting training. Also, my heartiest appreciation to the contribution of the research persons who had voluntarily shared their skills and expertise with the participants. As a practicing lawyer in my early career, I had the privilege to attend the 45 days long bar vocational course organized by Bangladesh Bar Council. And I can recall Madam Justice Naima Haidar conducted 2 sessions in that program, and Professor Mizanur Rahman sir was one of the key organizers of this program. So unfortunately, the program is no more and it has been cancelled since 2008. Fortunately, the academic institutions are making increasing efforts to offer the law graduates professional skills, including drafting, conveyancing, and mooting. My experience as a lawyer had profoundly influenced me to incorporate courses on professional skills in the academic syllabus of Jahangirnagar University. For skilled legal professionals, both in the bar and bench, mooting is indispensable. And I believe the NILS is doing a tremendous job in excelling skills of our law graduate. So NILS, thank you very much for inviting me in this promising event. And on behalf of Jahangirnagar University, I assure you every practical cooperation to further your activities. Thank you very much.
Now, I am honored to share that it will now be the turn of the Wisette with a glowing smile, Professor Dr. Farhana Helal Mehtab Ma'am, Associate Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Science, Daffodil International University. Professor Dr. Farhana Helal Mehtab Ma'am.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum and very good evening to you all. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
My warm wishes to the chair of today's program and all the distinguished speakers who delivered their valuable words for inspiring the motors. Now, I'm the last but two in this series. I guess so. Few words for these two personalities. First, the guest of honor, Dr. Mizanur Rahman, Professor of Law, University of Dhaka. How law can be taught with emotion and imagination and with information. I learned that by my teacher, Dr. Mizan. He made us learn how one can feel the distress, and according to that, how the legal personalities can provide the legal support. In my student life, I found Mr. Mizan very meticulous and punctual. In fact, these two qualities are must needed in a mooter's life. What other qualities does a mooter need? A mooter must be articulate. A good command of the English language is no doubt a must. Should be able to speak clearly, fluently, and must also be audible. Did I just talk about qualities of a good mooter, or I just described our Chief Justice, Madam Naima Haider? Yes, Justice Naima Haider is my all-time favorite speaker. She knows the style of speech, and she can mesmerize the people by her appearance. My gratitude to these two personalities. I'm sure their powerful talk will enlighten the mooters, the future advocates. Dear Motors, if I'm asked which one is my favorite part of mooting, the answer is responding to tough questions during oral argument. And for this, besides the legal knowledge and analytical ability, you have to know the art of speech. But at the beginning, don't afraid of your qualities. A lot of law students avoid moots because they worry about how they speak. My suggestions, please focus on your presentation. With patience practice and careful coaching, your delivery and expression will sharpen over time. I believe in last few days, in all the sessions, you came to know that a mooter has no alternative but to practice. You came through practice, you will discover your inner qualities and how you like to prepare for moods. When the time comes, just embrace it. Lastly, I congratulate each and every single person of 6th NILS Mooting School 2020. Because of their tireless contribution, we are today at the grand closing ceremony. My special wishes for Nasrin Sultana for accommodating the prominent legal personalities from home and abroad. Thank you all, and thanks for inviting me as a special guest. You people will be always in my thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your extraordinary remarks.
Dear audience, hold your breath As now, I am introducing our distinguished guest of honor. Before I pronounce our guest name, I would like to say the best teachers teach from the heart, not from the book. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, he is one of the best teachers, an internationally renowned legal personality, and the dream founder of rebellious lawyering. May I now humbly invite today's distinguished guest of honor, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir, former Chairman, National Human Rights Commission, Bangladesh, Professor, Department of Law, University of Dhaka. Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir.
My very affectionate chair of the session, Dean Abu Noman, the chief guest of the occasion, Justice Naima Haider, all the trainers whom, when I see the face, and now colleagues, I'm immensely happy to see from Nepal. Well, I have been missing him for quite some time. I'm happy that he is back, and hope to see him soon. And my dear participants of 6th NILS, as I was listening to all the speakers, I have been remembering the days when I joined Dhaka University as a young teacher and found today's chief guest sitting on the bench as my student. And now, on today's ceremony, she is the chief guest. And what more can be more pleasing to a teacher when the teacher finds his or her students to accomplish such heights in life and profession. When I see the chief guest today, I feel that my life has not been spent in vain. Probably there had been some contribution and to the development of legal science in the peoples of Republic of Bangladesh, and probably. However, as I speak today, I must acknowledge that I am speaking not a full Mizanur Rahman. What you are seeing today is a half Mizanur Rahman, because half Mizanur Rahman is already dead when Professor Shah Alam departed. That was half me, and I was half him. So whatever is left in me today is just probably something that he has left behind. I know how happy he would have been today to see his students and his student Dean Noman today presiding over this grand closing ceremony. And more you understand that time comes, and time comes for everyone. But when I remember Professor Shalom, and as I see and speak in front of all of you, my dear students and dear guests, I still remember the days when today's chief guest was sitting on the bench as a student. She didn't have exposure to something like Mooting competition in the University of Dhaka. That began far later in the Dhaka University. I remember those days when we first began this exercise from the platform of Dhaka University, organizing, inter-year mooting competitions. Then for the first time, sending our team abroad to participate in regional competitions. Those were very difficult days. Hardly could manage a team. And today I find and hear that 27 universities participated in this NILS Mooting School. What a tremendous development. I am astounded. I am immensely impressed with the performance of NILS and the Mooting school. And when I see that the trainers and the coordinators and the president and the chair of NILS Bangladesh are alumni of the summer school, that again pleases me doubly, because again I find that whatever we have been doing for the last 2-3 decades have not been totally useless. So the roots are now spreading throughout, and I'm sure that change is going to come sooner than later. But my dear Mooters, I'll not make a very long speech, just tell you a few probably sentences. You know, you're mooting, you're learning to speak, you're learning to unfold yourself. You know, as probably Pizur said that, this mooting and muting. So you have unmuted yourself and you've learned to speak in front of anyone and in front of the learned judges. And today you're speaking in front of Her Excellency, the chief guest of the occasion, the judge of the High Court Division of the Supreme Court of the country. Yes, everything is good, but please never forget, and I'm happy that Prakat mentioned it, that even the lessons of international law are not to be learned the same way as it is taught in the West and as we learn it in our part of the globe. Our perspective to learning law has to be different from others, because they look at law from the perspective of power, and we look at law from the perspective of how to fight subordination. We challenge power. We need to challenge power. And that is what is legal education here for. Therefore, we no longer say it's legal education, we call it justice education. So my dear Mooters, you must not be simply, learning the skills of advocacy for the purposes of litigation. No, litigation is something of the bygone days. The future lawyers are not going to be litigators. The future lawyers are going to be efficient community organizers. If justice is the end, if we want to ensure justice for all, then I think at times you need confrontation with the status quo. And for confronting the status quo, for confronting the powerful, for confronting the interest that is protected by the existing laws of the land, the laws being discriminatory, the laws being anti-poor, and so on, and laws being anti-human, and so on and so forth. How do you fight that? You don't fight it all by yourself. So you need to organize the communities. And the communities need to be organized not only to fight discrimination, not only to fight the anomalies there in the law, but you need to fight injustices on all fronts. And for this, you need to probably build coalitions. So when you say that it's a network of international law students, I'm happy. Yes, networking is good, but networking is not enough. The networking has to be transformed into coalition building. And with coalitions of similar thinking institutions, similar thinking platforms, then you become a force to reckon with. You become a force when power can be confronted with power, the power that you have mobilized in the communities themselves. I look at legal education today from that perspective. And so when you are learning the tricks of advocacy, when you're learning the tricks of lawyering, the skills of lawyering, my suggestion would be, very humble suggestion, is yes, you have to learn to do lawyering with the poor. I tell that lawyering for the poor even is not satisfactory. Lawyering for the poor is not enough. It has to be lawyering with the poor. And that is a big challenge. That is the challenge that you need to take up today. Well, the anchor introduced me as someone who proposes and propagates rebellious lawyering. Yes, that's what I've been doing, for the only single message that I probably have been carrying through all the years I have been teaching law is engage yourself in rebellious lawyering, whether as a teacher of law, whether as a lawyer who is litigating there in the court of law, whether as a social activist, whether as a community organizer, in whichever position you are, even as a judge, whether you are a rebellious judge or not, that is what is more important to me than anything else. And I'd be happy that as you're spreading your roots throughout the country and you're going, trans-border, I'd be happy to see that you also they carry the message of pro-poor lawyering through your training programs, through your trainings, through your schools, through your mooting. Because at the end of the day, lawyering with the poor is lawyering for justice. And that is what should be the end and ultimate objective of legal and democratic let me express my very heartfelt gratitude to the organizers for inviting me to speak a few words before you. I am immensely pleased to see the chief guest of the occasion, as I mentioned, all the distinguished speakers who are friends. And as I mentioned, and let me repeat again, I'm so happy to see Prakath back in Kathmandu School of Law. So use the resources that Prakath has. He has huge potentials, and NILS must extract the most out of Prakath. And like him, there are quite a few like him in Kathmandu as well. So extract the best out of them to the benefit of NILS and the students in Bangladesh for purposes of justice education. So with these few words, thank you very much once again, and let me say all the very best wishes to all of you, and goodbye from me. Thank you.
Dear sir, your remarkable contribution in mooting, the building society will never forget. Your presence on this grand closing ceremony will be a memory we will always preserve as treasure. At the same time, we sincerely thank you for your each and every word, which is count as gem. Thank you, sir, for your company and good wishes for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we need not to say about the chief guest of today's grand closing ceremony. Audience are waiting. This event is vibrating and echoing with her presence. She taught her a humble career as a humble person, and she rose to the prestigious position. She also shows a keen interest to attend different educational seminar, workshop as a speaker. She is the proud daughter of 5th Chief Justice of Bangladesh, the Honorable Chief Justice Badrul Haidar Chaudhuri. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our chief guest of today's grand closing ceremony of 6 NILS Mooting School, Her Excellency, Madam Justice Naima Haidar, Honorable Justice of the High Court Division, Supreme Court of Bangladesh, Madam Justice Naima Haidar.
Thank you for the introduction. And can you all hear me? I hope you can.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. The chair of, are you seeing me okay? Something just appeared.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, yes. The chair of this evening's grand closing ceremony of the Network for International Law Students, Bangladesh chapter, President ABM Abu Noman, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong, distinguished guest of honor, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman, the former chairman of National Human Rights Commission, Bangladesh, and professor of the Department of Law, University of Dhaka, who happens to be my teacher as well when I was doing my master's. He has already spoken that. And when the invitation had come, when I had seen that Professor Mizanur Rahman was the guest of honor, I couldn't but to accept it. You know why? Because I really haven't had a chance to see him, either be with him on any of the occasions during the last 12 years while I was elevated to the bench. And during my practicing years, yes, I have seen him and had attended many of the workshops. I still remember the workshop that I attended with him way back in 1998, and that was in Bangalore, India. To begin with, Professor Mizanur Rahman, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman, a very charismatic personality, we all know about it. And we were in our master's class at that point in time. The young man, a very handsome man, not that he is not now, he's still very handsome. And we wish him that he remains so until the last breath of his life. So when he used to come, the first thing which attracted me, you know what? The skill, the power, the art of talking. Farhana Hilal Mehta just said, that is the art of talking. Actually, you know what? I really learned the art of talking from none other than Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman. And I'm so happy that I could learn from him. It was only a period of 1 year that I was a student of his. Naturally, the Masters of Class was only for a period of 9 months. But I was always looking forward to his lectures in the morning. And we could see that whenever he used to come in, it was spellbound, absolute silence. And he used to speak, the way he used to say, and the way he used to speak, the way he used to make a pin drop silence and attract the audience. Guests who are present today, I'm not naming everyone for the sake of time, and Nasreen Sultana, who had contacted me, the founder trustee at the NILS Bangladesh, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and last but not the least, dear graduates of the 6th NILS Mooting School of 2020, a very special year, 2020. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening. It is with pleasure that I address you all this evening on this virtual platform. I'm thankful to the organizers of the NILS Bangladesh chapter. Any opportunity of visiting an educational institution and meeting with the young minds, the law students, who are the future of the legal profession, is something that I always look forward to. And you know why? Because I started my career as a lecturer of Islamic University first, and then later on moved to the Dhaka University as a lecturer and as an assistant professor. You might ask me why I did not continue with my teaching at the universities. The only answer I would give you today is that because I could understand that my father, late lamented father, wanted to be being the only daughter. So because my brother had already gone to the medical profession. So it was only I who was there. And I'm a 3rd generation lawyer. My son is also he has studied law, but he does not practice here. He lives in Canada. So he's the 4th. So being the 3rd generation, I had to resign from the University of Dhaka and then join the bar. After practicing about 20 years, as Professor Mizanur Rahman had said to you, we had mooting, this kind of mooting schools, but we did not. And you know why? And you know how? We learned the, I would say, the tricks of the trade of law. It is through walking down the corridors and carrying the briefs, as we say, and following the seniors. My father had once told me that even if you don't have a case, go to a particular court, sit there, see the judges, and you will know how you can relate to the judges when you start practicing on your own. So that was the tip that I had got. To me, I'll tell you what, I'm going to share a few things. I would, at the outset, quote Chief Justice Hidayatullah of India, who once said in one of his talks, the study of law has 2 aspects. Firstly, you study the law for its own sake, as you study philosophy. And secondly, you study it to make a living, which my father had actually told me, and this still rings a bell into my ears. And in the English universities, as Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman would know, and many of you would know, and the professor from Nepal would also know, he went to the University of California, where I had the privilege of going to, and the Berkeley. So we have seen that there is a distinction between the intellectual and professional study of the subject, which is well organized and recognized and maintained. In the context of our universities, especially in this subcontinent, this is not done. It is only realized that the study of law can be an intellectual occupation, that law is a branch of learning only. The traditional learning of law probably did not have the requisite intensity and charm that I say. The legal profession traveled beyond hope. As I may say again, law school during my father's time was a part-time activity confined by and large to evening classes, where regular attendance, the very good friends, obliging the by answering to the class was a branch of education because Dr. Mizanur Rahman had categorically mentioned that during the, as we say, the mooting, you need to go to the court and see. And now we see that a lot of viewers, a lot of guests from the respective law schools do come to the court and sit before the court of law, only to see how the courts are being functioned. Mainly imparting to students a knowledge of certain principles and provisions of law to enable them to enter the legal profession, which the colleges have done so far. But during the turning of the millennium has entrusted on the shoulders of the law schools, which are seeing today in so many law schools, the responsibility of imparting legal education that can shape lawyers fit to assume additional roles or as arbitrator, conciliator, community-based lawyers, additional roles as, I would say, plan the policies, and also to advise the business community, negotiate settlements between the parties, act as reformers, interact on intricate questions of science of technology, even if the occasion arises. In fact, the law curriculum for the future, I think, must provide integrated knowledge of a whole range of physical and natural science subjects on which legal policies are now being formulated, the future of law, as we say. These areas will include biodiversity, biotechnology, information technology, environmental sciences, air and space technologies, ocean and marine sciences, forensic sciences, public health, petroleum and mineral related subjects. We all know that a purpose-driven life should be the bedrock day to three ingredients which my father has said, and I think I follow. That is hard work, self-improvement, and integrity. These three attributes will enable you to stay ahead of the competition, which today is in form of getting employed and then rising faster than your peers once at the workplace. There is no better way of providing a hands-on legal skills, which the law schools are now providing by generating these moot schooling competitions, training the students, then through such engagements. Life always, I say, even today, I would say, there's lot to learn. Not I would say that I learn every day. In fact, I learn every second. We at the bench, most of the time, interface with the law as was and is on the statute books, while you have the opportunity at the law school interface with the world knowledge as it evolves. We have a lot to learn from you, so do come forward. As I say, no one can learn playing cricket merely by reading a book on cricket, do we? I don't think so. But he has to get onto the field, wield a bat and hit a ball. He has to learn to throw the ball and also to do the fielding. Likewise, in the legal profession, I would say, come and teach us. Come and say how the world revolves and how the laws have changed. And according to the changed circumstances, how the world has changed. We do live in a world that is being reordered in every aspect, I would say. Rather it's politically, economically, security-wise, business-wise, socially, technologically, ecologically. It will be a world of complexities and future, an extreme competition that I always tell everyone of the future generations, where there will be battles of dominance and survival. What you see in the world now is just the beginning of the battles. Coming forward or going forward, I would say, please be informed that be positive, as I've always been. Be positive and you will view the new world unfolding before your eyes. Think like experts from your own field, wherever you may be, as a trainer, as a student, as a lecturer, as a professor, wherever you are. Think yourself that you're all experts and act like pioneers and innovators. The world you are going to inherit is the one you will create yourselves. I would say moot court is the one of the methodologies which seek to achieve transformation of a theoretically well-versed lawyer into a practical professional. I'm sure that this 1 month-long certificate course through virtual classroom had provided an opportunity to all of you, to all the participants, to learn how to do legal research, analyze critical legal issues, and develop persuasive legal arguments. I'm also happy to note in this context that NILS Bangladesh was the award winner as the best chapter of the year in 2019 among 28 countries of the NILS domain. Let me congratulate all the members of the NILS, the NILS, for their achievement. But the graduates of the 6th NILS NILS Mooting School 2020 deserve a great round of applause. I wish it was not a virtual one. We could have given a round of applause, but do accept the applause from me on the virtual world. You are special, you know why? Because you have done it during this pandemic of COVID-19. Congratulations once again. I wish you all Godspeed and ahead a very bright career in law. Thank you for inviting me to this grand closing ceremony of the NILS Mooting School 2020 competition. Thank you everyone for giving me such attention. Thank you all. I hope you all have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Justice, for making our grand closing ceremony so much glorifying by your. We will always cherish this moment with your memory, as well as we'll keep in mind your secret 3 ingredients of success. At the same time, we are expecting your appearance in our future events.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, before it comes to the part of today's program share, I would like to invite one of our coordinator, Ms. Kanis Fatima, to recite a poem which is written by our fresh graduate of 6th NILS Mooting School as a tribute of 6th NILS Mooting School. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite our coordinator, Kanis Fatima.
করোনাভাইরাসের এই নজিরবিহীন অভিজ্ঞতাহীন এক যুদ্ধে সামিল হয়েছে পুরো পৃথিবী। উৎসবহীন অবকাশে আমাদের জীবনযাপন যখন ছিনিয়ে পড়ছিল, তখনই নিলস বাংলাদেশ ডাক দিয়েছে অনলাইনে মাসব্যাপী মুটিং স্কুলের। দেশের বেস্ট ইউনিভার্সিটি একটা সময় হয়তো অমূলক ছিল, কিন্তু নিলস বাংলাদেশ আমাদের সেটা সম্ভব করে দিয়েছে মুটিং স্কুলের মধ্য দিয়ে। দেশের শীর্ষস্থানীয় বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের শিক্ষার্থীদের আমাদের হয়েছে। আমরা পেয়েছি মাসুম বিল্লাহ স্যারের মতো শিক্ষকদের, যিনি আমাদের পাবলিক ইন্টারেস্ট লিটিগেশন উপমার শূন্যতম প্রয়োগে অনন্য স্যার। হিমালয়ের দেশ সুদূর নেপাল থেকে আমাদের ক্লাস নিয়েছে। এতটা উপভোগ করেছি, এতটাই সংযুক্ত হয়েছি যে আমাদের মনেই হয়নি ভিনদেশী ভিন ভাষার কোনো শিক্ষক ক্লাস নিচ্ছেন। প্রতিটি সম্পর্ককে অর্থবহ এবং কার্যকর করতে সেই সম্পর্ককে বন্ধুত্বে রূপান্তর করা জরুরি। শিক্ষক শিক্ষার্থীদের সম্পর্কটাও বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ হলে স্কুলের প্রতিটি ক্লাস বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ পরিবেশে আমরা উপভোগ করেছি। কোনো কিছু বোঝানো সূক্ষ্ম একটা পার্থক্য আছে, সেটা বুঝেছি মুটিং স্কুলে এসে। লুৎফুন্নাহার সঞ্চি ম্যাম, মোহাম্মদ মামুন ভাইয়া, নাসরিন সুলতানা ম্যাম, অরূপ রতন শাহ স্যার, নুরান চৌধুরী স্যার, পিজাওয়ার স্যাররা তাদের শেখানোর এবং বোঝানোর দক্ষতায় প্রমাণ করেছে নিলস কেন তাদের ফ্যাসিলিটেটর বলতো। নিলস জার্নি জুড়ে আমাদের মুটিং স্কুলের বিভিন্ন গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয় নিয়ে বিষয়ভিত্তিক স্পেশালিস্টদের নিয়ে সেশনের আয়োজন করেছে। সবশেষে রিয়েল জাজদের সামনে নিলস প্রশিক্ষিত মুটারদের মধ্যে ডেমো মুটিং এর আয়োজন করে। সেখানে দেখেছি কোর্ট যুদ্ধের অন্য আরেকটি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দিক, কোর্টে বিচারকের প্রশ্ন অস্ত্রের তীব্রতা কতটা কঠিন হয়। দেখেছি একজন মুটারকে কতটা প্রশ্ন বানিয়ে জর্জরিত করা হয় আর কতটা আত্মবিশ্বাসের সাথে সেসব প্রশ্নের উত্তর দিয়ে যায় বিজ্ঞ মুটাররা। পুরোটা সময় জুড়ে আমাদের মধ্যে নিলস এই বোধটা সৃষ্টি করে দিতে সফল হয়েছে যে আমরা অনেক কিছুই জানি না, শিখতে হবে আরো অনেক কিছু। জানার পিপাসা সৃষ্টি করে দেওয়ার চেয়ে বড় সার্থকতার কি বা হতে পারে। কোনো কিছুর অনুপস্থিতি আমাদের তখনই ভাবায় যখন সেটার উপস্থিতি আমাদের কাছে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। জীবন সুন্দর বলেই মৃত্যু ভয়ানক। নিলস মুটিং স্কুলের মধ্যবর্তী সময় থেকে বিদায়ের করুণ সুর বেজে উঠেছিল সবার রিভিউ জুড়ে। এতেই প্রতীয়মান হয় নিলস মুটিং স্কুল আমাদের কাছে কতটা সমৃদ্ধ এবং উপভোগ্য ছিল। তবে জানো কি তোমার বিদায় কথায় কত বুক ভাঙা গোপন ব্যথায় আজ কতগুলি প্রাণ কাঁদিছে কোথায়। নজরুলের বিদায় কবিতা প্রাসঙ্গিক হয়ে উঠেছে আজকের এই বিদায়। সকলের অনাগত ভবিষ্যৎ, সকলের অনাগত জীবন ভবিষ্যৎ নয়, পেছনে ফেলে আসা সবচেয়ে সুন্দর দিনের মতো সুন্দর হোক। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
Thanks, Kanis Fatima, for your wonderful recitation. Now, we will invite our program chair, Professor ABM Abu Noman Sir, Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Chittagong, to initiate the closing remarks of this glowing closing ceremony night. Professor ABM Abu Noman Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. The Honorable Chief Guest, Excellency Madam Justice Naima Haidar, the Honorable Distinguished Guest of Honor, my mentor, my teacher, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir, the Honorable Special Guests, and dear participants. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to you all. What a powerful, motivational, and the emotional talk of our chief guest, in such a grand closing program of the 6th NILS Mooting School. I am the student of the Dr. Shalom sir. And when Mizan sir was talking, I was so emotional. Our heart was so broken because we have lost our mentor, our guide, our father, who is a true legend of the clinical legal education program in Bangladesh. 28 years back, when I was a student of the first year honors, because we are the alumni of the first batch of the law honors in Chittagong University. At that time, we are fortunate enough to have Professor Shalom sir, Professor Mizan sir, who have started their journey to introduce clinical legal education program and the Rajshahi. So you're fortunate enough in a sense that when the Justice Madam Naima Haidar talking about in our days, we don't have this kind of exercise, but we are fortunate enough in the 28 years back, we have this kind of the opportunities to practice the real scenario of the courtroom. But the today's participants, you are the so fortunate enough when you have the chief guest, Justice Naima Haidar, and the honorable guest of honor, Dr. Mizan Sir, in your graduate program, in your closing ceremony. Because this is not like the speech of the chief guest or the honorable guest of honor. This is the some source of the motivation. This is the some source of the power which you will cultivate in your mind. When the Justice Madam talking about be positive, it covers the all aspects of a truly a professional as a legal professional. When Mizan Sir talking about the mooting for the justice, lawyering for the justice, and the legal education for the justice. And this is the core inner meanings of our constitution, of our declaration of the independence, and of our the inner meanings of the dream of our the freedom fighter. So I sincerely believe this is the day of the history. Nizam spoke to the dear participants, the legendary justice of our Supreme Court, the Justice Naima Haidar, Madam, when talking about in front of you. So I sincerely believe this is some source of the motivation and by which you will fix your future goal, what you have to be done in your future professional career, either in bench or bar or in any place of the legal field. So when the PROCAT, and thank you so much, PROCAT, because this is really a networking for the international law students. So when you're talking about the network, yes, the NILS is working most probably the 28 countries, including the USA, UK, and the other European countries also. And we are fortunate enough, already mentioned by our chief guest, the NILS Bangladesh chapters that has been awarded the chapter of the year of 2019 because of the true, I think the guideline of you people. I know that all of you are the students of the different public and the private universities, but you have some source of the motivations because mooting is not only for the self-development, but it's mooting to ensure the justice. Mooting is also for the ensuring of the justice of our country. So I sincerely believe, Nils, you have done your duty obviously in the positive manner. So I wish you all the very best. And I really convey my gratitude and definitely thanks to our chief guest, Her Excellency Madam Justice Naima Haidar, because when I called you, well, you were within a minute because you have already told when you have got some sort of an invitation from the young generation, from the academic institutions. So this is you are really interested to talk about the future leaders. So thank you once again for giving us your valuable time. So as an advisor, I feel so much proud to work with the young generations and young people of the NILS, not only in the Bangladesh, but also all over the world. And last but not the least, I convey my gratitude to my mentor, to my teacher, to my guide, Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman Sir. Because when we're talking about this is not the full Mizan, this is the half Mizan. Because we have lost our Shalom Sir. Our heart has broken. Our mind is always crying for our mentor, for our father, Professor Dr. Shalom Sir. But Mizan Sir, you are still alive. Shalom Sir is no more, but we sincerely believe the dream of the Shalom Sir still is alive in your mind. So with these few words, I have to conclude my closing remarks. I think this is the starting. In these pandemic situations, the whole world is, I think, but the NILS, you people, you people done a great job. You people done a great job to remove the depression from our students, to organize the 6 NILS mooting schools and wonderful activities. So this is just a starting. So keep it up in the future time. And last but not the least, thank you once again for inviting me and for offering me to chair such a wonderful and the glorifying and the really grand closing ceremony. Thank you once again.
NILS Bangladesh always counts your words as our blessing, sir. Thanks for your valuable time and encouragement.
Respected guests, distinguished guest of honor, and the chief guest. On behalf of NILS Bangladesh, we would like to express our gratitude to all for providing their gracious presence to join us today to enhance the light of this program. We are thankful for, and at the same time, express our wish to count on their appearance in our future event.
Every ending has a new beginning. With the hope of that new beginning, now we, the anchors, Fatima Zahra Hassan Raisa and Lutfun Nahar Shamsi, signing off from the formal part and requesting Mr. Pranto and Ms. Tasnuva, coordinators of 6 NILS Mooting School 2020, to take the floor for the cultural segment.
So maybe, thank you.
Madam, thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naman. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
It was lovely meeting you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
মিজান স্যার আপনাকে অনেক
আপনাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ। মিজান স্যার আমাদের চলে গেল।
ম্যাডাম
নাইমা আপা অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ, যা বলেছিলাম সেটাই।
সবাইকে কুমিল্লা ইউনিভার্সিটি দাওয়াত থাকলো আমার পক্ষ থেকে।
ফারহানা, দেখা হলো আরেকবার।
থ্যাংক ইউ আপা।
ভালো
থ্যাংক ইউ আপা।
সবাই ভালো থাকেন। প্রফেসর